Breaking Bad, episode 503, Hazard Pay. Um, it's been a slow go over these first couple episodes. Um, they are starting over from scratch. The series did kind of have to reset itself after season 4. I would say honestly, it's not off to as crazy awesome as a start as season 4. And this is a series that has a tendency to each season gets a little more intense and crazy. I think this one will get there. It's a little bit of a slow burn starting off. There is nothing going on when it first starts off, really. So that said, this is probably my favorite so far, and they're finally back in business, and there's a lot of cool moments in this episode. So let's just get right to it. God. The scene that we knew it was coming was Mike saying he's in, but he runs the business part of it, and no questions asked. Absolutely no questions asked. Do you understand this? Walter says yes. Then Walter tells Saul, I handle him. And there's a little bit of butting heads between Mike and Walt. Like, Walt just assumes that he knows everything and he's in charge of everything. When they go to take a vote on the business, Mike goes, "Should we take a vote?" And Walt's like, "Why?" Although Walt learns a little something near the end of the episode. We'll get to that. But first off, I love their solution for the new lab. Really incredible, very ingenious. It's pretty awesome that the writers of a show came up with this. It's brilliant. You have a place to cook, so it's different every time. No one's going to suspect anything. No one would ever go into a house that's getting fumigated. Absolutely brilliant. It really is. I like that. I think that's an absolutely brilliant solution for the lab. I can't believe they came up with that, man. Really great. The scene where they cook again, the little cooking montage was awesome. They're showing the chemistry happening and the music playing. You see all the little parts of it. It's just fun to watch them cook. The scene following it was, I thought, pretty layered and awesome, which is when Walt and Jesse are sitting there having a beer. I think there's a lot going on here. Part of it is Walt feels kind of guilty, but at the same time, I think more than anything, Walt is making sure that Jesse is, Jesse's girlfriend is safe, or what does she know? Walter has an agenda in this scene, and Jesse picks up on it pretty quick. And Walter's just like, "I trust you to do the right thing. You've earned that." And you think Walter wants to seem like he's just being nice, but I think Jesse knows that Walt is a little crazy and fucked up. If he didn't know it by that point, he knows it by the end of the episode, that's for sure. And so Jesse makes a very, very bold decision to break up with his girlfriend. I did not expect that. I didn't see that coming. It goes to show that Jesse's learning and he's becoming smart and he's aware and he's sober. Very interesting to see where Jesse's going to go this season. And once Jesse finds out how fucked up Walter really is, that'll be another thing. And Walter is fucked up at this point. He's fucking crazy. Speaking of crazy, Skyler's breakdown. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Sometimes you do just want to say that to Marie. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. But Skyler fucking lost it. And you get to see, how disturbed Skyler really is. The Scarface scene, how about that, guys? Pretty awesome. Pretty amazing. One, because, as we've known since the beginning, Vince Gilligan has said this show is going to kind of mimic Scarface with where it's going. And there's Walt watching it with Walt Jr., and she walks out. And Walt Jr.'s like, "Man, everyone dies." And they're watching the big scene at the end with the machine gun. We've already seen a machine gun once this season. We know it's going somewhere, and I'm gonna get into that too. But and he's like, everyone dies in this movie, and you see Skyler and the look of absolute horror on her face that she knows, and we know that's kind of where this final season's gonna go. Pretty crazy, right? Really great scene there. Really awesome. And even to people that don't know that the show was kind of modeled after Scarface, and we'll still pick up on what's going on there. I think. I think I covered all my bases. Um, the one other thing is the ending where they split up their money, and it's like 300 something thousand, 350 to 60,000 each. Walt's like, where's the rest of the money, man? And he's like, well, we have to pay. I forgot who he said they have to pay at first. And he's like, no, we need the money for the drivers. And it's like a shit ton of money that they're getting. And Walter's like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? Walter's freaking out. Here's the money we owe Jesse. And then he's like, and then like 100 something thousand each for legacy pay. And Walter's like, what the fuck is legacy pay? And we know from the beginning scene, it's these people that are in prison that worked under Gus, who they're paying to keep happy, to keep their families supported, and to keep their mouths shut. And Walt was having none of that. He's like, that's not my problem. That should come out of your end. And, Mike makes the point that, hey, this is none of your worry before, but, you done goofed. You ain't Jesse James, right? And, Walt, makes a stand, puts his hand on the money. And Jesse's like, dude, just take it out of mine. Jesse had more money anyways, and he had money left over from before. He's the only one of them that is rich and could probably retire, at least for a long time, right? And then Walter, backs off, and he's like, no, I'll pay my share. And Mike is like, dude, you better get used to this. We're paying this every time. We got to make them whole. And then, Mike leaves, and Walter gives Jesse this little speech about Victor, who I'm assuming is the guy that got the box cutter in the box cutter episode. And he's like, he's making decisions, doing things that he wasn't approved to do. He got his throat cut. He walks away, and Jesse gives him this look like, you're fucking nuts, yo. And I think what's implied is that, hey, maybe we have to take out Mike eventually. Which I don't agree with. I think is dumb. I think Jesse thinks the same thing. And on top of that, I think Jesse has loyalty to Mike. I think Jesse still likes Mike. And I think Walter is a little naive, thinking that he could run this all on his own. I think without Mike, it doesn't work. He knows all the connections. He knows how to make the business actually run. It wouldn't have crossed Walt's mind that Gus has people in prison that you have to keep quiet. Walt wouldn't have known that. What if those people started talking? So, I think it's dumb of Walter to be thinking that way, but Walt is in kingpin mode, man. He thinks he's the king. And, he's assuming that role, and he doesn't like the fact that they have to pay all this money out. Jesse makes a great point to Walter. He's like, dude, you're looking at this the wrong way. He's like, yeah, we made less than we did under Gus, but we also made less meth. And we're getting to keep more of it. More of the total business. And, if you're the owner, if you're owners, that comes with expenses. It's not like when they're just employees, they show up, they did their job, they took home their money. It costs money, and especially starting off, you're going to be doing smaller batches. Who knows if they could step up to bigger batches, but, Jesse makes a great point, and Walter is just like, I wonder what, maybe I should kill Mike. And it's just like, you're fucking crazy, dude. So Walt is on a very, very reckless, dangerous bad path. He's on the Scarface path now completely. You could see in the next episode he's coming to full-on Heisenberg. So we see Walter starting to head down the path where he's going to be on the run, and with the hair and all that stuff. I don't think we're going to get there, at least in the, obviously we're going to get there, but I don't think we're going to get there in these first 8 episodes. We're almost at the halfway point. Next week's episode 4. You're halfway done with these first 8. I don't think we're going to get there because then we're going to have 8 episodes of Walt on the run. I think the scene that we saw in the first episode is, it's a scene from near the end, maybe the final episode of the show. Honestly. Tell me what you think. On top of that, there's a little bit of birthday talk before Skyler lost her fucking mind. Marie bringing up his birthday. And I thought, maybe it's his 52nd birthday coming up, so maybe we are close to that moment where he's in the Denny's and he's with the bacon, fucking with the bacon. But we're not, because the next episode's name is 51, so it'll be Walt's 51st birthday. So that episode, the next episode coming up, is a year before the very first scene of this season. So there's a long way to go left in that final, 12 episodes that are left after next episode, right? And I know it's for a fact because if you go and watch the online video of the clip that they have for next week, it's Walt's birthday and Skyler's looking all pissed, but Walt Jr. is like, hey, you gotta do the thing for his birthday. And she comes and she arranges the bacon into a 51. Now, you remember the first scene from this season, Walt arranges the bacon into a 52. So next week we're a year away from where I think the show is going to end, and I think that the scene that we saw at the very beginning of the season is ties into the very end of the season. It wouldn't be that different than the teddy bear in the pool or the eye floating in the pool from season 2, where that kept showing up as it went along, and it was from the final episode. So those are my thoughts. I generally thought this was a really great episode. Like, there's lots of little things. Last week I didn't really feel like there was that much to talk about. I was struggling to think of things to talk about, but here there was a lot of, we had to talk about this. We had to talk about the Scarface scene. You have to talk about Walter, thinking about killing Mike. The scene where they're, divvying up the money. It was a good, here's the business is back, and then here's where things are kind of heading episode. And with some key moments, I think the moment between Walter and Jesse when they're drinking that beer, I think it's going to haunt us later when things start to really go bad. So, pretty solid. The season's picking up. The first episode was just kind of a fun one. Last episode wasn't too much going on. It was just kind of establishing that Walt is Walt, and then they're thinking of coming back. Now they're back. Now they're on track to failure. Big time. And out of anything, I think Walt is losing sympathy as it goes along. He's becoming more evil, and Jesse is really likable. So those are my thoughts. Interested to see what everyone else has to say. As always, leave comments. Blah blah blah. Thumbs up. I don't ever ask for thumbs up, but I figure I'll throw that out there. Give me a thumbs up. I'm sure we'll be talking movies in between, but if you only tune in for these Breaking Bad reactions, I'll see you next week. Later.